Embracing mindfulness, the path to presence. In a fast-paced world filled with distractions, the art of mindfulness emerges as a sanctuary for individuals seeking solace. Picture a serene stream flowing gently, its clarity undisturbed by the chaos of debris around it. This stream symbolizes the essence of mindfulness, a state of unwavering attention to the now. Mindfulness invites us to engage fully with our experiences, free from judgment and distraction. Through breathing techniques and guided imagery, we learn to breathe deeply and immerse ourselves in the present moment. As we practice mindfulness, our thoughts and feelings transform into mere observations rather than relentless narratives we must engage with. By training our minds to be like that peaceful stream, we find the resilience to navigate life's currents without becoming ensnared in our mental chatter. Observing thoughts, the art of detachment. The journey towards overcoming overthinking involves learning to become mindful observers of our thoughts. Imagine stepping back from a dense web, each strand representing the thoughts that often entrap us. This conscious observation does not demand that we label our thoughts as good or bad. Rather, it encourages acknowledgement without attachment. Much like watching clouds drift lazily in the sky, we gain distance from our thoughts. By observing them from this elevated perspective, we can better understand the patterns that dictate our mental chaos. This new vantage point empowers us to navigate our thoughts with grace and clarity, enabling us to carve our path without being bogged down by emotional reactions. The middle way, finding balance amidst extremes. Central to Buddhist philosophy is the concept known as the middle way, a path of moderation that advocates balance in our thinking and feeling processes. In tackling overthinking, the middle way teaches us that neither obsessively clinging to thoughts nor aggressively suppressing them serves us. Instead, we are encouraged to acknowledge thoughts as they arise, holding them lightly rather than tightly. This balanced approach allows our minds to revolve freely, decreasing the grip that overthinking often has on our well-being. As we practice being present with our thoughts, we create a mental space filled with clarity and calmness. This equilibrium fosters acceptance and compassion toward ourselves, reminding us that thoughts are transient and do not define us. Letting go of attachments, freeing the mind. To cultivate a serene mind, we must learn to release our attachments, not only to desires but also to our thoughts themselves. Clinging to thoughts creates an oppressive cycle of stress and anxiety. By recognizing the fleeting nature of our thoughts, we grant ourselves permission to let them flow through us without judgment. Each time we focus on a lingering worry, we can gently remind ourselves that it's just passing through, temporary and not a defining aspect of who we are. This perspective opens the door to living more fully in the present moment, liberated from the weight of past concerns or future fears. Cultivating compassion, a healing force. The essence of Buddhism rests heavily on compassion both toward ourselves and others. As we navigate the turbulent waters of our minds, compassion becomes a vital tool, one that soothes and nurtures amidst our struggles. When we find ourselves ensnared by overthinking, we must remember to treat ourselves with the kindness we would offer our loved ones. Acknowledging our pain without judgment is the first step to cultivating compassion. Through self-compassion, we shift our internal dialogue from criticism to understanding, allowing us to quiet the relentless inner critic that fuels anxiety. By nurturing ourselves in this way, we not only alleviate our own suffering but expand that compassion outward, connecting us more deeply to others. Observe your thoughts, gaining clarity from detachment. In the quest to overcome the trap of overthinking, one of the most empowering techniques available to us is the art of observing our thoughts. Imagine yourself in the midst of an intricate forest maze, where each winding path represents a different thought, a different concern. Instead of getting lost within this mental labyrinth, true wisdom lies in stepping back, creating distance, and observing these thoughts as if you are a traveler at the edge of the woods. Through the practice of mindful observation, we learn to see our thoughts without becoming enmeshed in them. This practice aligns closely with Buddhist teachings, encouraging us to adopt a non-judgmental stance toward our mental landscape. To truly observe our thoughts is to embrace them with curiosity rather than fear or judgment. It's like watching clouds drift across the endless sky. Each cloud disturbingly resembles a fleeting thought, temporary and ever-changing. Just as clouds eventually shift and dissolve, so too will our thoughts evolve and pass. This perspective empowers us to dissect our usual mental patterns, allowing us to see their nature without letting them define us. Instead of becoming ensnared in worries and anxieties, we create an inner space marked by freedom and lightness, paving the way for clarity amid chaos. Engaging in this practice also teaches us resilience. As we recognize that thoughts are transient experiences, we begin to understand that they can't hurt us if we don't engage with them. This disentangling leads to mental liberation, providing a refreshing clarity that enables us to navigate life's challenges with a level head. Over time, cultivating this thoughtful observation allows us to approach our internal struggles with newfound equanimity, cherishing our ability to be the watchful observer rather than a victim of relentless chaos. The middle way, navigating extremes with balance. The middle way represents one of the cornerstones of Buddhist philosophy, offering a pathway of moderation amidst the tumult of modern living. When it comes to overthinking, individuals often oscillate between two extremes, becoming buried in relentless ruminations or attempting to suppress thoughts altogether. This oscillation only leads to further mental distress. Inspired by the teachings of the Buddha, the middle way provides a more sustainable course, one that advocates gentle observation without clinging or suppression. Picture yourself on a tightrope, striving to maintain equilibrium while navigating the challenges of your mental landscape. The middle way teaches us to recognize our thoughts without falling prey to the whirlpool of incessant analysis or the perils of forced silence, a balance that requires practice, patience, and continual awareness. Accepting thoughts without judgment enables us to engage with them mindfully, appreciating their transient nature but also recognizing that we are not obligated to react to them. Instead of becoming consumed by thoughts, the middle way suggests a moderate approach by practicing mindful acknowledgement. This recognition releases the pressure to find immediate solutions or answers, enabling us to observe our thoughts and feelings as temporary visitors in our mind's garden. With practice, we learn to cultivate a peaceful coexistence with our mental musings, replacing the instinctive responses of anxiety or fear with patience and balance. Thus emerges a dynamic mental equilibrium where tranquility and understanding flourish. Integrating the middle way into our daily lives can take many forms, including mindful breathing exercises, meditation focusing on body sensations, or moments of quiet reflection. All of these practices invite a greater awareness of our mental states, empowering us to adjust our approach as we navigate through life's myriad challenges. When we find ourselves straddling the line between chaotic overthinking and anxious suppression, we can gently remind ourselves of the middle way, inviting us to create an internal space defined by acceptance and consciousness. Release your grip on attachments, letting go for peace. In our increasingly demanding world, attachment to our thoughts can ensnare us in the web of overthinking. Holding on too tightly not only fuels anxiety but distorts our perception of reality. Buddhist teachings emphasize that learning to let go of attachments, including the thoughts themselves, is crucial for attaining inner peace. Each thought we cling to represents a strand in the entangled web of our mental processes, creating significant mental clutter. To practice non-attachment, we must first recognize that thoughts arise and pass naturally, just like passing clouds in the sky. They do not define us. Rather, they are ephemeral and can be observed without judgment. Acknowledge your thoughts without letting them dictate your emotions or actions. When a thought arises, embrace it as just a passing phenomenon, temporary and insignificant in the larger scheme of your life. This approach frees you to reside fully within the present, cleared of the emotional burdens of past regrets and future worries. Picture your mind as a peaceful garden. In this garden, attachments to our thoughts can be seen as weeds that sprout uncontrollably, threatening the balance of serenity. Regularly practicing non-attachment acts as a gardener's hand, pruning away these weeds and allowing the flowers of clarity, focus, and tranquility to flourish. The more we practice this letting go, the more space we create within ourselves to breathe and engage with life in a meaningful way. The act of releasing our grip on attachments fosters a sense of lightness. By liberating ourselves from the weight of fixated thoughts, we cultivate a mindset characterized by openness and awareness, where we become participants in the dance of life's unfolding narrative. This will allow us to abide in the joy of simple moments while reducing the mental noise and clutter that consequently lead to overthinking. Cultivate compassion, a gentle force against overthinking. Compassion, a fundamental concept in Buddhism, serves as a transformative force in mitigating overthinking. Often, individuals facing mental struggles become embroiled in a sea of self-judgment and criticism, exacerbating their feelings of anxiety and distress. Practicing compassion involves acknowledging our suffering without judgment and extending kindness to ourselves akin to how we would treat our closest friends. When beset by overthinking, we need to cultivate self-compassion, a powerful antidote. Begin by recognizing the difficulty of the moment, validate your feelings rather than minimizing them. Replace self-criticism with kind affirmations, embracing the reality that it is okay to struggle. Imagine having an internal dialogue that reassures you, "It's hard right now, but I will find my way through this." This gentle encouragement can help quiet the inner critic that often serves to heighten overthinking. As we embrace self-compassion, we begin to nurture a warmer relationship with our thoughts. Rather than engaging in a battle against ourselves, we cultivate a sense of safety and understanding. Picture your troubled mind as a stormy sea. Compassion acts as the gentle breeze that settles the waves, steering us back toward mental peace. Through the practice of compassion, we acknowledge the shared experience of suffering inherent in humanity, fostering deeper connections with ourselves and others. Practicing compassion allows room for acceptance. It encourages us to embrace our imperfections and acknowledge that living in a chaotic world presents challenges for all. By extending this compassion outward toward others, we become part of a larger collective that recognizes and supports the journey through suffering. Kindness, both towards ourselves and others, creates ripples of healing that extend beyond individual experiences, leading to a kinder, more empathetic world. Cultivating patience, the key to mental calmness. Patience is not merely a passive waiting. It is an active, intentional practice that serves as a balm for the inner turmoil we often experience when overthinking. Within the teachings of Buddhism, patience is revered as a cornerstone virtue, vital for navigating both our internal struggles and external pressures. Understanding the nature of patience means recognizing that life unfolds in its own rhythm, a rhythm that we may not control or dictate. When we foster a patient mindset, we invite a spirit of calm endurance into our lives, allowing us to accept the ebb and flow of our thoughts without judgment or resistance. In moments when our minds race, filled with worries and incessant chatter, patience lets us step back and observe this tempest with a sense of gentle acknowledgement. Visualize yourself standing on the shore, observing the waves crashing against the rocks. Instead of feeling overwhelmed by the storm, you stand steady and calm, recognizing that waves are a natural part of life, just as our thoughts and emotions. By allowing your thoughts to surface and pass without the need to act upon them immediately, you create space for mental clarity and inner peace. Embracing patience encourages us to give ourselves permission to feel without the compulsion to quickly solve or eradicate every issue that arises. Each thought, feeling, and emotion possesses its own timeline for resolution. Thus, the very act of granting ourselves this grace becomes a source of liberation. As we practice patience, we learn to cultivate an attitude of acceptance, recognizing that all experiences, including the mental turmoil of overthinking, contribute to our growth and understanding. With patience, we also release the burden of urgency that clamors for immediate answers and solutions. By letting go of this pressure, we can observe our thoughts as they arise and dissipate, transforming the chaos of our minds into a more tranquil and manageable landscape. Ultimately, nurturing patience is an invitation to a slower, more fulfilling existence, where insight grows from the quiet spaces within, simplifying life, creating mental clarity. In a world that often glorifies complexity and busyness, a radical simplicity can feel almost countercultural. Yet, it is within this very simplicity that we often rediscover the calm and clarity we've been seeking all along. Simplicity is not about having less for the sake of less. It is about choosing with intention what truly matters and letting go of what burdens the mind unnecessarily. When we overthink, our minds become cluttered with competing thoughts, endless scenarios, and imagined outcomes. This mental noise often stems from a life filled with too many commitments, possessions, digital distractions, and even relationships that lack genuine meaning. By simplifying our outer world, we open space in our inner world for reflection, stillness, and insight. Begin with small, mindful steps. Ask yourself, what adds real value to my life? What drains my energy? The act of simplifying starts by removing not just physical clutter, but also emotional and psychological baggage. We often carry expectations, our own and those imposed by society, that lead to internal pressure. These expectations, if left unexamined, feed into the habit of overthinking. By decluttering not just our homes but also our habits, goals, and digital environments, we foster a quieter, more focused mind. Simplicity also invites us into presence. When our lives are too full, we're constantly pulled in multiple directions, making it difficult to fully engage with the present moment. But when we choose fewer, more meaningful pursuits, we are better able to offer our complete attention to what is in front of us. Whether it's a quiet morning with a cup of tea, a meaningful conversation, or a walk in nature, these simple moments, experienced fully, become sanctuaries of mental peace. Creating mental clarity through simplicity is not a one-time act. It is an ongoing practice, a commitment to returning to what feels real and essential. It's about learning to say no to the noise so we can say yes to what truly aligns with our values and inner calm. This doesn't mean withdrawing from the world, but rather engaging with it more consciously, choosing depth over breadth, stillness over speed. The Buddhist principle of right effort teaches that it's not the quantity of what we do, but the quality of our actions and thoughts that matter. When we simplify, we practice right effort. We channel our mental energy in a way that nurtures clarity, rather than dispersing it across endless distractions. This mental refinement gradually dissolves the fog of overthinking, revealing the quiet wisdom that has always been within us. In embracing a simpler life, we are not giving up richness, we are redefining it. True richness lies in peace of mind, in purpose, and in presence. As we let go of the excess, we return to ourselves, undistracted, unburdened, and clear. Simplicity then becomes not just a lifestyle but a state of mind, a fertile ground from which clarity naturally arises.